last night was a feel good night for a variety of reasons. One, it was a feel good night because we got arguably the fight of the year, and I can't speak about Chris Eubank Jr. without speaking highly of Conor Benn for playing his part in that fight last night. It was tremendous. I enjoyed every minute of it. And I don't think anyone could honestly say they didn't enjoy that fight. It was tremendous. And it was lovely to see when that lift opened and we seen Chris Eubank Jr. and his dad, Chris Eubank Sr. That was a real, yeah, that was nice. I liked it. That was lovely. That was a great moment. With everything that's been said, with Chris Jr. not speaking to him apparently for a couple of years, to see that, that was nice. That was nice. I liked that, and I watched it again at that moment because it was very nice. It was very nice. So I was happy to see that. Very happy to see that. In terms of what he does next now, that is the big question. He apparently went to hospital with a broken jaw, so he definitely didn't leave that fight unscathed. Nor too did Conor Benn. It has to be said. I think both guys left it all in the ring, which is all you can really ask for a fighter. And I think both guys, Conor Benn included, have taken a couple of years off their career. It's more devastating, I would say, to Chris Eubank Jr., given the fact that he is the older man. And there is talk that the rematch is going to happen, that the terms have pretty much already been agreed, and the Turkey Al Sheikh wants to do it again in Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. I would be up for seeing it again, but I would say that Chris Eubank Jr. should be able to dictate what he wants, and if it's non-title, maybe he should even be able to dictate the weight, maybe 162 or something like that. No rehydration clause, so he can be a bit fresher on fight night. I think realistically, Chris Eubank Jr. needs to move up to 168 pounds. I think that when I look back at his career, his best performances were at that weight, 168 pounds. He beat up Renault Quinlan. Don't really care about that. Renault Quinlan was never that good to begin with. Beat up Arthur Abraham, and he really put a beating on him. And Arthur Abraham, he at the time he'd only lost to really good fighters. He lost to Zerdo, and I thought that Zerdo did I think Eubank hurt Arthur Abraham more than Zerdo did. And Zerdo, we know how good he is, and they both absolutely, decimated Arthur Abraham in terms of outpointing him. I don't think either guy lost the round, but I think Eubank had him in more bother at times than Zerdo did. And Zerdo had Arthur Abraham in trouble in their fight. That was on the Manny Pacquiao Tim Bradley 3 undercard, just so you know. That was actually a good little fun 12 rounds. Zerdo did really. That was one of the first times I ever seen Zerdo. He looked real good in that fight, real good. And then he had obviously that fight against Avni Yildirim, who was unbeaten at the time. He was the guy who they said knocked one of James DeGale's teeth out. He's a big, strong super middleweight, is Avni Yildirim, and Eubank decimated him. And then he fought George Groves, and quite frankly, he froze on that night. He froze on that occasion, and he threw that fight away. George Groves was tremendous that night, don't get me wrong, but he threw that fight away. He fought McDonough. JJ McDonough, we all remember he quit in the fight and then called him out for a dust up straight after. Just like a career review of Chris Eubank Jr.'s run at middleweight or super middleweight. Then he fought James DeGale, arguably still his career best win, because James DeGale, former two-time IBF super middleweight world champion, and then he went back down to middleweight, and since then he's not looked as good. I think that his journey should have stuck at super middleweight. I know it was unlikely at the time, given how good the talent was. You didn't just have Canelo, you had Saunders, you had Plant, and Billy Joe Saunders, old rival. There you go. I mean, I think that everyone missed the boat when Billy Joe won his world title at 168 pounds to do that rematch. I think we were deprived of that rematch at 168 pounds because it should have happened. That's Eubank Jr.'s fault for moving down, to be honest with you. And I think Eubank Jr. now at this stage of his career, 35 years old, the hand speed is not what it used to be. It's still there, but it's not what it used to be. The work rate, rehydration clause, will take that into consideration, yes, but the work rate isn't what it used to be. The punch resistance, I don't think, is what it used to be. And I think that a lot of that is down to the fact he's fighting at the wrong weight. And I think that he would look better at 168 pounds. But fundamentally, I think Chris Eubank Jr. is probably on the way out, which is sad because he has given me so much joy over the last 10 years. Love Chris Eubank Jr. And it is sad that I think he's on the way out. If he does go ahead and take this fight with Conor Benn, as far as I'm concerned, Chris Eubank Jr. is the one who should be dictating the rules in this rematch. He won it. He didn't cause the first proposed date to go. It's Chris Eubank Jr. who should be dictating the terms in this fight. No rehydration clause. If it's one, maybe if you, it's a non-title fight, so what's wrong with coming in at 162, 163? I don't see the problem with that. No rehydration clause. None of this BS 18-foot ring. Let him do what he wanted to do. He should have been given carte blanche to do what he wanted to do first time with this fight because he didn't break any rules first time. When now he's won the fight, the people were cheering him to the rafters. It was lovely to see. Chris Eubank Jr. is in a really good place, and I'm glad to see it because whether you love him or hate him, I think that deep down he is a good person. I mean, you see the way he speaks about his brother is very tragic. Sebastian, you can tell how much that meant to him. You can tell that it meant a lot to him just getting the win and his dad there. So for me, seeing last night, it was lovely to see. It really was, and I think that moving forward, he needs to be careful what he does. He doesn't need to sign himself away to these weird deals like he did for this fight, because he made this fight way harder than it needed to be, in my opinion. And moving into the rematch, I think he should win it again if he's able to just have it on his terms, which I think he's more than earned the right to 1,000 times over. So those are my thoughts on Chris Eubank Jr. Let me know yours in the comments section below. I hope you enjoyed the video. As always, people, smash the like button if you could. Hit subscribe, of course, if you haven't already. A lot to come now this week. But until then, peace.